Oh, no. No, 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 no. Did not want to do that. That's right, Tribal Chief. All right, breaking news. So the NBA trade deadline is upon us in just a couple days. And what will be happening, we don't know. But some trades have happened. A couple guys have gone here, a couple guys have gone there. Boring. Well, here's the excitement. James Harden has been traded. The prettiest girl at the prom, James Harden, traded again. Shocking. Back to the East Coast, this time to the Midwest. Well, kind of. Um, eh, Middle America? Sure. James Harden got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Dan Garland, Harden, an all-star, Garland, an all-star. This is a big shakeup. Denarius Garland. This is a big shakeup for the Cavaliers. I feel like they traded for the wrong James. You know, they probably should have traded for the other. Harden is a former MVP back in 2019, three-time scoring champion, blah, 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 blah. Nobody, no one, would ever feel or think for 1 second James Harden has not been a terrific basketball player in his time in the NBA. But if you're a team like the Cavaliers that have goals and aspirations on winning NBA championship, a team currently right now in the mix, a team that some people said are having a setback season because they're not one of the top five, they're one of the top three teams, they're one of the top five teams, they're 30 and 21, they're 8 games back. Pistons are running away and not looking back. But if your idea is that you need to bring in you want to win a championship, I think you picked the wrong player because if James Harden has proven anything, whether it's in Houston, whether it's been in Philly, whether it was in Brooklyn, and now with the Clippers, he is not a playoff player. James Harden's contract says from October to April. And then after that, he's like, bruh, I don't understand. Like, I don't think y'all understand. The other problem I have with this trade, right, is you can't continue to just makeshift the roster. You already have a ball dominant guard in Mitchell and Devin Mitchell. Devin Mitchell's a fantastic ball player. Okay, James Harden, I get it. They call him a point guard. He's a point guard in today's new NBA. But I don't feel he is the type of point guard that can slow the game down. I don't feel like he's the type of point guard that defensively is going to turn it up. When I think of great point guards, I think of Rajon Rondo. I'm not going to go old with you guys. I think of Rondo. I think of Chris Paul to a lesser extent. I think of Tony Parker. I think of guys who first set their teams up, then score. Harden's whole attack system is to almost look to score first, then pass. He kind of sometimes gets a lot of assists because basically it just kind of happens. But will the Cavs improve in this? No. I don't think this is going to move them an inch. I don't think this is going to make them better. I feel like this is, in all honesty, the Cavaliers trying, grasping at straws. Now, if they got another trade in mind, I don't see it happening, but we'll see. So, breaking news, James Harden's going to go to the Cavaliers for them to lose in the first round. I'm sorry. I try to be more optimistic about this, but I'm not. Like, it's a terrible trade for the Cavaliers. You traded for a 36-year-old guy who likes to dribble and shoot the ball a lot. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly, looking at the landscape of the league, there are a lot of great players. I don't think there's anyone like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago that just rips the headlines and you just go, oh my God, I got to have that guy. This guy's changing everything. For the most part, every player that's tradable now is an old, aged-out player that should, be a great role player or mentor, but for some reason, because of science and dieting and basically lack of competition. These brothers just keep playing and playing and playing, and it is what it is. So with that being said, I feel like I put together some pretty good trades that should happen. And I based the trades I think that should happen either before the deadline or after the deadline with names that have already been in the trade cycle, shall we? So it's time for the Notorious Sports Critic to play GM, and let's make some trades, shall we? The most popular name on the trade block is Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak. His resume is a couple of MVPs, and the only other NBA championship in Milwaukee since, I don't know, a little unknown superstar known as Luol Sender. You may know him as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I thought this trade could work. You can see Giannis get traded to Denver. Denver should trade for, they could trade Aaron Gordon, Johnson, and Watson. 3 players for 1. The money checks. And if you could put Giannis with Jokic, it will be a great combination. You got 2, it'd be like the Twin Towers. It'd be like David Robinson and Tim Duncan in just the new day and age of players. Here's another one. If you're Toronto, you want to bring them north of the border. You could trade Quickly and RJ Barrett for him, which wouldn't be bad. Toronto's having a pretty good resurgent season. You could pair him with Barnes in that matchup. We can see how they play out. Toronto is 31. They're in that mix of the 4, 5, and 6 spots. And here's a one. Giannis to the Suns. Pair him up with Booker. You could trade Green. You could trade Allen. 2 players. And these are not bad trades to get back from Milwaukee. Milwaukee's getting quality players, so I don't see why they wouldn't pull the trigger on that. All right. Here's another trade I had. You could do John Morant, trade him to Indiana. Why do I like that trade? Because Morant needs to go somewhere that's quiet. All right? I don't know the young man. I know basically what I see on TV and what you hear. And he out there. He in them streets. You know what I'm saying? He outside, as they say. He took his butt to Indiana, and Indiana got a hood from what Steven Jackson says. But I think that's a basketball mecca. They'll protect him. You just go and hoop. Who do you trade him for? You trade him for Siakam. The money matches. And then when Tyler comes back, you got 2 dynamic offensive threats in the backcourt. Because Morant could take a backseat. Because I think Hasbro is a better point guard than Morant. Morant is a great guard. But for 3 years, you got him for 3 years. You see what happens. Here's a trade that if I'm the Miami Heat, boy, oh boy, we about to make South Beach popping again. How about this one, all right? So we got the Heat will trade for Zion and Morant, and you're trying to figure out how you make this right. I did this all in the ESPN trade machine, and it all worked out. Zion and Morant, you would send Bam to Memphis, and you would send Tyler Hero and Mitchell to New Orleans. And now you're Miami. You built up your two-headed monster in Miami. And boy, oh boy, now it's not going to work because you're going to put Zion in South Beach. And the boy's already lost his mind in New Orleans. He's going to get to Miami. We're not going to hear from him again. He may never make it to the court. He may not be able to walk. It's going to be bad. Bad for him. Let you use your imagination on that. All right, here's the last trade I had. This one is also a doozy. It's a 3-way trade. Golden State would get Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks would get Giannis. And Milwaukee would get Green and Hill and Kuminga. If you're Milwaukee, you may want to take advantage of that trade, in all honesty. Also, what the hell is wrong with Doc Rivers? Can he not coach anymore? Like, we have been told for years Doc Rivers is a great coach. I know what I'm doing. But, like, Doc, in his last couple trips, and this most recent one, oh, boy. Not good. Not good, Doc. Y'all tell me what you think of those trades. I like them. I do. I like them. All right, now, I wrap the show up here with, I like the NBA, or I used to. But I don't know what the heck is going on. I don't know when to watch games. The NBA has become exclusively the home for streaming sports. And I know Adam Silver likes to pretend, or rather, not pretend, because he's not pretending. I know Adam Silver wants us to believe he's the smartest guy in the room. But in my honest opinion, I don't know if that's the case. Now, right now, the game is on, this is an NBA game on NBC. Okay? But for the last 20 years, we knew the NBA format. We knew we were going to get games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay? We knew the format. We knew on Tuesday we were going to get games on TNT. We knew on Wednesday we were going to get games on ESPN. We knew on Thursday we were going to get games on TNT again. And we knew on Friday we get ESPN. The game is now on Prime, Peacock, ESPN, Tubi, DJ Chase Radio, the NHL Network, MLB Network. You have to have a subscription to your mother's bank account. Like, it's all over the place. And it's like, what are we doing here? Like, what happened? The notion and the emphasis to keep moving sports to streaming because you think that's where young kids are watching the games. I have news for you. Kids don't watch the games. And I'm going to burst a lot of people's bubbles. Kids never watch a full sporting event. I hate to tell you guys, I used to be a kid once. Holy shit. I know, right? I was once a child. I don't remember from the ages of 5 to 16 sitting my narrow ass down and watching an entire game. Unless it was a mega game. You get what I'm saying? But like on a random Tuesday, Wednesday night, I wasn't watching the whole. And you got a couple kids in high school, the ones and twos that watched the whole game last night. Oh, good for you, buddy. For the rest of us, we weren't watching. Sports has always been dominated, the viewership, by the adult. And the idea that we're continuing to create the content for the screens in our hand is stupid. It really is. Because people have not stopped buying televisions. People have YouTube TV. People have Sling. People are subscribing to live television. They are. But we're to be told that they're not. Then why is YouTube TV the number one freaking television provider out there? Why is Sling still around? Why is Fubo still around? Why is there Hulu Live? Think about that. And the NBA has been trying to find a way to reinvent the wheel. And in my opinion, it just keeps killing the league. Now I know what you're saying, well, Brent, the league's it is not. There's a handful of us but the league is not growing in leaps and bounds. Kids like it because it's colorful for a minute, and as they get older, they grow out of it because unless the competition is going to change. But listen, I hang around people a lot younger than me, and they talk about football still. Heck, they even talk about baseball. They talk about wrestling. They talk about UFC. Nobody is talking about the NBA where I'm at. And I'm pretty, I'm not in the metropolitan, but I'm close enough to it. And I just do not believe the NBA has an idea of what it's supposed to be doing. The fact, again, I can't figure out where the hell to watch a game is crazy to me. All right, and then we have the All-Star game that only Frankenstein could have created more of an atrocity than this stupid addition to what they've done to the All-Star game. It's the USA versus the world, but there's 2 USA teams and 1 world team. Huh? What? The answer is not. They should have just did 1 Team USA versus the world, or the Team Americas. If you're afraid you're going to get your ass whooped, Team USA, do the Americas versus the world. world being, or do the Americas versus Europe. You got enough European players to make it happen. You can throw Africa into the European mix or whatever. But, like, stop overthinking this, all right? Somebody said it best, and they've been tiptoeing around now, but it's true. The NBA All-Star game got killed because LeBron James did it. And you listen, I'm going to go, I thought the show was going to end here, but I'm going to actually stretch this. You listen to NBA players complain. Everybody complains about their job. Let's be clear. Everybody complains about their job. But I'm here to tell you right now, Mr. NBA man, you will not find one human out there who has a regular 9-to-5 job get upset that they have to go to quote-unquote an all-star game and do all this extra stuff at the game. Listen to the things that they complain about during All-Star Weekend. They got to mingle. They got to do meet and greets. They got to ask questions. They got to do a panel. They got to meet with sponsors. They got to meet with corporate sponsors. They have to do this charity event. They have to go to a party. They have to do all of this. This is what they have to do. It's so exhausting to make $30 million to go shake hands and nod your head for 15 minutes at a time. Damn, that's truly exhausting. The barista at Starbucks making $12 an hour to make your coffee while you're complaining to their face, I think they may want to change. I'm going to sum up why the NBA All-Star Game got bad. And y'all can say whatever you want. I hope people listen. It's quite simple, is that they didn't take pride in the game. It came too easy for them. A la the King. It came too easy for him. Thus, his court, the other players felt they fell in his category. LeBron James entered the NBA a grown man, able to compete with grown men. All-star, MVPs, finals appearances, blockbuster name, must see. Everything came to him. Why did he need to care? He cared, yes. He cared in the sense that he had a job to do. But he didn't care about what came with it because he was expecting that to happen. Players of the past were not expecting what came to them. They weren't, Dr. J wasn't expecting that. In fact, they were looking for more. Michael Jordan believed in playing because it would be the first time somebody saw him play, so he was going to play to the fullest. Kobe Bryant believed in being the best and showing he was the best, and the All-Star Game is the time he's supposed to do it. We're cheated as fans, but we keep rewarding them for telling us no, they don't want to do it. It's kind of weird if you think about it. If you listen to a fan today talk about an NBA player and how defensive the fans boys have gotten, it's kind of disgusting. You're a fan of the game, and you can sit there and defend a player who openly says, I don't want to do this thing you were paid to see me do. No, I don't feel like I need to do that. And you go, yeah, he don't need to do it. Then who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for the player, or are you rooting for the individual? Are you rooting to see this man do the thing you paid? And you may not have paid to go to the game, but you paid for the streaming, you paid for the cable, you paid for the jersey, you paid for the sneakers. Say what you will. You could call LeBron the GOAT. Fine. Go for it. But my GOATs are the men who came before him, who played for us. I never forget when Ray Allen said he didn't want to play for Team USA because they didn't pay him. You know what happened after that? The aura of Ray Allen. Ray Allen went from being a star player to a role player. Tell me I'm wrong. As CM Punk said, tell me where I'm telling lies. The reason why, for those of you out there that want to know why people pine for the days of yesterday, pine for seeing Mike back on the court, pine for seeing Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe, pine for seeing Magic Johnson. I even go further back than that if you need to, if the person's still alive and remembers. The reason why people pine for those older great players is because those guys left everything on the court. Everything. Not a damn thing was left behind. When they walked off the court, they could say, damn it, I did it all. Patrick Ewing damn near, we watch, as Knicks fans, we watch Patrick Ewing's body fall apart. But yet we're being told load management matters? The hell out of here. There was no load management. You didn't tell Kobe he couldn't get back in the game. You didn't tell Michael when he couldn't play. You did it. You know why? Because Mike played 80 about 9 times in his career. 82, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys think when you're sitting there salivating over your favorite, LeBron and others, and you're sitting there calling them the greatest because they scored more points or they dunked a little harder, you ask yourself, did they give you everything you wanted? Did they give you the dunk contest you wanted to see them in? Did they give you a compelling all-star game? Hell, did they even give you a compelling regular season game? Ask that. Ask that your greats of today that you love so much gave as much back to you as you gave to them. Ask yourself that. I'm not going to tell you the answer. I know the answer. I hope you, after listening to this, you find yourself the answer. And maybe you will rethink. You will reconsider why Mike is still on top. Think about it. Anyway, we're going to wrap this show up. A lot later than I was expecting, but we're going to wrap it up. All right? Listen, Sunday, right after the Super Bowl, DJ Chase Radio, Downright Sports presents DJ Chase Radio post-game Super Bowl recap, my reactions. We're going to talk about the halftime show. Did not touch on it a lot here. I could probably kill it. You know what? We could go the full hour. I actually have to use music to break this show up. The halftime show, Bad Bunny. Well, I'll talk about it then. I'll talk about it next week. I don't want to get political because it's exhausting, if you want to know the truth. But I'll be watching. I'm watching because I'm ready for the trailers. I best to get a Doomsday. We already got a Supergirl trailer. I better get a Doomsday trailer, a Spider-Man trailer, and whatever else is coming out. I want the trailers, and I want them good. All right? I want them good. I saw there's a new Dunkin' commercial coming out, so I'm excited for that. So we're going to discuss a lot. Maybe I convinced the wife to join me and do a show. But yeah, Super Bowl post-game show, live on DJ Chase Radio. Tune in. Download the DJ Chase Radio app right now. Downright Sports is back on DJ Chase Radio. You know what it is. DJ Chase. Download the show on Spotify. New episode is ready on Wednesday at 12. We'll be back with an all-new show next week. We're going to transition, guys. Got to transition out of football into baseball, some hockey. I am studying hockey. I really am. The Winter Olympics start this Friday. I may do some recaps if I can pronounce some of the names. But we'll be back. Be happy. Be safe. Find your inner peace. Find your inner thoughts. And we'll holler at you guys as always. Be safe. As always. Deuces. Go back and watch